Shawn.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye. Daphne joining us, and again, I think we proved it. Loaded show tonight. It was very loaded. Steve Carino, William Regal, Lash LaRue, Daphne. That's loaded. I think we can almost call it a day. We got a couple minutes. Couple things. Don't forget, again, this Saturday, the Heartland Wrestling Association, as the wrestling guys, welcome them to the Payne Rec Center at Splash Moraine. It's going to be a huge show. You've got a Texas Tornado match for the HWA Tag Team titles. I'm serious. Now, should fans bring extra? I mean, should they get insurance for the show or anything? I think the security there will be fine. I really do. I'm really worried. Because let's look at the matches, Willie. I know, but quit being a worrywart. But they're coming into a WWF. They're coming. Quit being a baby. You'll be fine. Security will be fine. WWF town. You've got a rematch for the HWA title, Nick Dinsmore defending against Ray Steele. You have a three-way dance for the Cruiserweight title, the champion, Matt Striker, against Pepper Parks and Chad Collier. Thank you very much. And it's going to be, I can't even concentrate because you're over here shaking, worried that you might get hurt by Lash LaRue. I'm sorry, but you set him off. Fine. I will defend you this Saturday. You probably wanted him to be there. I will be your bodyguard if you need that. Thank you. You're welcome. Don't forget also that on Saturday, a time to be announced, the HWA Cruiserweight Champion Matt Striker and Cody Hawk will be making an autograph appearance at Splash Moraine. And on Friday afternoon on our sister station, 105.9 The Rebel, 105.9 The Rebel, they will join Wild Wally in the afternoon for an appearance there. And for more information, you can call the Wrestling Guys hotline, 937-285-0991. And again, we want to thank our guest, NWA World Champion Steve Carino, WWF Commissioner William Regal, also Lash LaRue, and Daphne, the Scream Queen from Turnbuckle Championship Wrestling. Nice to talk to all of them. Will you do the hotline Sunday if anything happens, though? If anything happens to you, I will take care of the hotline. All right. Do you want to Will Graham to me too, or? No, I just want it in writing. Okay, yeah. If anything happens to you, I will. Now, what if something happens to me? I'm the one that set Lash off. Oh, I'll gladly take the rest of it. That's fine. Anyway, we want to thank all of the guests. Thank everybody for calling in tonight. Well, actually, we didn't take any calls, but that's okay. Right? We had to place the phones on hold. So again, SummerSlam on Sunday. Don't forget to join Willie on the hotline for his not-so-accurate predictions. And go to the Wrestling Guys webpage, all new 1059therebel.com. Click on Pro Wrestling and let your thoughts be known. That sounds like that's the plan. We'll be back next week here on the station. That's a part of your life. AM 910 WPA terrific. I just said something. You never know. We got this new studio now. So we got to iron the chainsaw a little bit. There we go. A terrific Wednesday night to you. I'm Shawn Stidham. Welcome to another edition of the Wrestling Guys. If you want to hop on board, your toll-free number is 866-910-WPFB. You just heard that guy that said, yep. That is not Willie F. Willie F. has the week off, so joining me, superstar from the Heartland Wrestling Association, Shark Boy's in the house. Shark Boy, how are you? Oh, pretty good. How you doing, Shawn? And not too bad. You found your way out of the water and got here and everything else? Yeah, I've become accustomed to land here. You got a big show coming up tomorrow night at Jillian's. We'll talk about that in just a few minutes, but thank you very much for sitting in, and make yourself at home, and if you feel the need to pop in on something, just go right ahead. Gotcha. Mi casa, su casa. All right. There we go. Let's go ahead and get into the news. Next week, SmackDown is now going to air live on Tuesday night at 8 o'clock. It turns out MTV does not want to compete against the Video Music Awards next Thursday. Right. Which, with Britney Spears debuting a new song, that's going to be a tough, thing to compete against. I would, to say the least, I would be flipping back and forth, I think. Just when Britney was on. Yes. Absolutely. There you go. WrestleMania next year is going to be held at the Toronto Sky Dome. Maybe the worst kept secret in all of wrestling. Yeah, it's pretty much all over the internet already. Yeah, but WWF.com is saying we've got a big announcement next Monday. Right. So I guess there's a little bit of controversy up there over this because the mayor of Toronto, Mel Lastman, is hooked himself onto this. He's going to be at the press conference next week and everything, even though the guy really didn't have anything to do with bringing WrestleMania to Toronto at the Sky Dome next year. Now, apparently, there's a city councilor, Michael Walker, who says that Lastman's son, Blaine, owns a Bad Boy store. I guess Bad Boy is a furniture and appliance store, yeah. And that various WWF wrestlers do commercials for him. Now, this is a conflict of interest. I don't know. I think that's kind of pushing it. I mean, it's a big event. It's a bonus to have it in whatever city. I think I don't know. I think that's pushing it. What do you think? Yeah, I would have to agree with you. I mean, so what? The guy has a son, and his son has commercials with with WWF wrestlers. So yeah. I mean, you know, if Jesse Ventura is allowed to be a governor and still referee SummerSlam, I don't see what's wrong with this guy's son owning a store.
There are bigger issues than this.
Absolutely. Broadcasting Cable Magazine reporting that the October 1st edition of Raw is going to have Star Trek-related content into that. That frightens me.
Like the time that William Shatner beat up Jerry the King Lawler?
You know, I keep thinking back to, what was it, Capital Carnage, 1990, 1991, RoboCop, you know, within WCW, or Chucky in WCW or something like that, so we'll find out. Kane is still in the hospital recovering from his elbow infection. I guess he got the infection at SummerSlam originally.
That was where he injured the elbow. I think the infection came out like two days later.
Yeah, and then
he started having problems with it.
Actually, wrestled Saturday night in Des Moines, and then I guess he started suffering some problems backstage.
Right.
So they took him and then piled that on top of his back problems he's been having. Glenn's not very healthy right now.
It's been a rough few days for Glenn, I think.
Absolutely. Mick Foley coming out in the movie. Have you seen this yet? Deadbeat?
Yeah, I read about that. When they taped that? That was a while ago.
It was about 5 years ago.
Right.
Barry Norman, never met him. Do you know him at all? Barry Norman is a former PR director for WCW. He put this movie together about 5 years ago where Mick stars as a former hardcore criminal trying to turn over a new leaf and gets a job with a credit card company, and his job is to track down deadbeats. And apparently Mick's wife has a role in it, Colette. So
that's
pretty interesting there. And a couple of other things we're going to get to throughout the night. One thing we'll talk about right now, and I'm kind of curious to get some opinions on this. ABC.com has an article posted today about backyard wrestling. And in it, Vincent McMahon is quoted saying that parents and children need to be wary of and leery of what they do to emulate us, because even as pros, sometimes we get hurt. He also added, and they need to be very, very careful about what they do. Give me your thoughts on backyard wrestling.
Well, I mean, I think a lot of the guys that are in the business started out as backyard wrestlers. I know I used to, tumble around the backyard with my brothers and friends and neighbors and that sort of thing, but the types of things that we did weren't anything like what you see nowadays with the videotapes that are on sale on the E channel and whatnot.
Right.
These guys are jumping off of roofs, they're hitting each other with light tubes. I think a lot of the responsibility lies with the parents. I think they need to know what their kids are up to.
And it's not only, because I did the same thing, you do. You play around the backyard, but you watch these kids on these videos, and it's not just the light bulbs and the jumping off the roof that's scary. It's even the moves they're trying to perform. They're trying to do pile drivers. They're trying to do, power bombs and, hurricanranas. That's the kind of stuff that, takes some training. And I don't know about you, but at 12, 13, 14, I wouldn't trust a 12 or 13, 14 to have the maturity to be able to pull off those moves safely.
Right. Well, I mean, it's really a matter of instruction. I'm sure some 12 and 13-year-olds do have the ability to be able to perform those maneuvers, but they've never been shown the proper way. And even if you are shown the proper way, the dangers are so high that are involved with it that it's just not worth it until you get some training.
And do they have the mentality, do you think, to realize that, in reality, even though you're power bombing somebody, it's your job to actually take care of them?
And not until they're taught that. That's the problem.
So ABC.com has that article up, so if you want to check that out, visit their website today. But that continues to be such an issue because we get calls from kids that, they've set up a ring in their backyard and they want us to promote their shows. And, they have these cards. I'm like, you're not a wrestler. I'm sorry.
Right.
You're playing around the backyard. You're having a good time. I hope you don't die from it.
Right.
I don't know. It's a scary situation. Be interested to get your thoughts on that. Also want to talk about this entire mess with DirecTV and the World Wrestling Federation, the pay-per-views, and we'll get in on that. But I want to talk a minute about tomorrow night. Jillian's just across the river in Covington. Big show tomorrow night. Literally, big show's going to be in town.
That's right.
But the Heartland Wrestling Association, World Wrestling Federation, WCW, they're all in town. And you've got a big match, tag team match. You and Molly Holly against Canyon and Victoria.
Well, actually, it's not Canyon. It's Evan Courageous.
Evan's in now.
Yeah, Canyon's in the six-man, I believe.
So that's been changed.
Right.
Card is subject to change. That's
Card is always subject to change.
So now it's you
and Molly Holly.
Is Spike okay with this?
I don't know. I assume that Molly would have run this by her.
Is Sandra okay with this? I'd be more worried about Sandra than I would Spike Dudley.
Hey, KK.
Okay. Anyway, we'll talk about that in a few minutes. Your phone call is available at 866-910-WPFB. More when we come back. We are the Wrestling Guys on AM 910 WPFB. This Labor Day. Back here on the Wrestling Guys, I'm Shawn Stidham. Willie F. has the week off. I'm joined by Shark Boy. And if you've never seen Shark Boy, you can do so on the internet. Give him your website.
www.sharkboy.net.
Sharkboy.net, and you got the masks on there and the T-shirts and everything else, right?
That's right. T-shirts, masks, autograph photos, schedules, everything.
And the thing is, you came in here tonight. I thought you would take the mask off, but you wear the mask everywhere you go.
Everywhere I go. Absolutely.
So I know, like the Seattle Mariners, they have the baseball players, Ichiro, right? And there's actually a bounty on him in Japan.
What?
And truly, this is a true story. The tabloids in Japan are offering like a $2 million bounty if anybody can come up with a picture of Ichiro's butt. So I'm wondering, maybe we could do something like that.
You think my butt's worth some money?
No. Don't go there.
Okay.
Don't go there. But what I'm saying is, if we can find a picture of you without your mask, then maybe, maybe somebody out there would be willing to offer up a reward.
Well, I never wear a mask on my butt. For the record.
That's probably a good policy to have.
Yeah.
866-910-WPFB, the toll-free phone number. Let's go to Andy in Kettering. Andy, welcome to the Wrestling Guys.
Hey, what's going on, guys?
Not much. What's up?
First off, I just want to say, Shark Boy, it's an honor to talk to you on the radio.
Hey, cool.
Thank you. That's your fan.
But I got two things to get into, you guys. First off, what's the deal with Mick Foley on that Robot Wars show or whatever? Is that permanent or is that just a one-time thing?
Shark, Mick's your boy, so.
I think he's hosting the show now, right?
Yeah, I think as long as that's a permanent gig at least for now.
He's been on like the last 2-3 weeks.
Yeah, he went over and taped a number of those shows
in England, right?
Yeah, I'm not sure how long his contract is or how many shows he was contracted for, but Mick's got a lot of time on his hands, and I know he's looking to try and do other things outside of wrestling. And we talked earlier about the Deadbeats movie coming out, and even though that was 5 years ago, but anything I think he can get his hands on, he'd love to do.
Absolutely, he's a born entertainer.
Absolutely. What else?
And also, I checked out this really good website. It's called Title Change. I think it's called TitleChange.com or something like that.
Okay, I haven't heard of it. I assume it's about title changes.
Yeah.
Just I'm going out on a limb here, but yeah.
Well, there's an ad for it in the WWF magazine with Austin on the cover, and it's pretty good. There's video and all the histories of the titles and everything.
Every championship.
Yeah.
Wow, I may have to check that out. The title change or title changes?
Title Change.
Okay, I will check that out, Andrew. Thank you very much for the phone call. All right, that's TitleChange.com.
I don't know that one.
You might be on there. We'll have to check that out.
For what title?
HWA Cruiserweight.
There you go.
HWA Heavyweight. What other titles have you held?
Various independent titles. That's on my website. Go to Sharkboy.net, and you can find out exactly what titles I've held.
Nice way to slide in there. Let's talk a little bit about your career. How did you get your start? What made you get in this business, the whole 9 yards?
Okay. I've told this story so many times. When I was 12 years old, I remember I watched WWF and saw the episode where Rowdy Piper hit Jimmy Snuka in the head with a coconut. And that pretty much hooked me. I wanted to start watching every week at that point, and I started going around telling people that I was going to be a pro wrestler when I grew up.
And lo and behold, there you are.
Yeah. So when I was a junior in college, I saw an ad on the TV for a radio show with Mr. Les Thatcher, who up to that point I'd never heard of. I'd never seen Smoky Mountain Wrestling before, so I didn't know who Les was. But I tuned into the radio show and wound up winning tickets to an independent show, and lo and behold, he was there, so I met him in person. And, I just told him about my love for the business and how I wanted to do it ever since I was 12. And he said, well, I'm getting ready to open up a wrestling school, so if you give me a phone number, I'll be happy to give you a call when I do. And, I really didn't think he'd call me. But a few weeks later, then the phone rang, and there it was, and he said, come on in and check out the school. And that was in October of 1995, and the rest is history.
Now, how did the idea for the Shark come about? Have you always had a love of fish, or did this happen?
Actually, the gimmick itself was originally inspired by the Toady song that I come to the ring to. I come from the water.
Mm-hmm.
I heard the song on the way to a training session one day, and it just, at the time I was really struggling trying to come up with something, because I just wanted to have something unique. And the song made me picture in my head like a comic book type of guy that would come from the ocean to battle the evil wrestlers, and I just had this whole wild image going in my head. And this was in early 97. The only guys in this country that were wrestling that were my size were the luchadors.
Right.
So I sort of decided to go that route, and I billed myself as El Piranha. And I went down to work for Ian Rotten in Louisville, Kentucky. It was one of the first outside bookings that I'd had besides the Heartland Wrestling Association, where I got my start. And when I went to work for Ian, he already had a wrestler that he was calling El Perro, so he didn't like that name. And so the Piranha sort of evolved into Shark Boy that night. And I used both names. I used the one name in Louisville for a while, and while I used El Piranha in Cincinnati, Yeah. And I did them both at the same time for a little while, but the Shark Boy it was something they could chant and something they could get behind. And then I got this, idea in my head to go with like the fin on the top and the teeth and just go the whole 9 yards,
Right.
And I think Ian came up with the idea of putting the Jaws theme at the beginning of the song that I was using. So it all came together, man, and I just took it and ran with it.
And it's amazing because anytime you go to an HWA show or any other show where you work, because I know you work all over the place, there's always kids there with the Shark Boy mask, and they, more than anybody else, probably have really tied into your character because it does have some of those superhero qualities to it. You do have the very colorful outfit, and you are very acrobatic in the ring. So you had the superhero idea long before Shane Helms.
I love what they're doing with him, by the way.
Oh, it's great.
Shane is like one of my best friends in this business, and he's just super cool. And I just love the fact that they did that. I actually called him like right after he won the title Monday. I left a message for him on my cell phone and just said, hey, I think it's cool. Congratulations, live it up tonight. And I love the new gimmick, and I think it'd be great. My God, Shark Boy would be the ultimate tag team partner. But, you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
That would work so well for Hurricane Helms.
I had this question the other day, and I've never had the pleasure to meet Shane, but is he really that big of a comic book fan?
Absolutely.
Is he really?
That's a complete shoot. Yeah. The last time I saw him, a matter of fact, he was up in Michigan for a comic book convention. He was actually a guest. It was a paying gig.
Oh wow.
And we met at an indie show and worked the same indie show while he was in town. And that was just super awesome. But, yeah, that's a complete shoot, man.
Our toll-free number is 866-910-WPFB. Let's go back to the phone lines, and we have Quick Man. You're on the Wrestling Guys.
How's it going, Shawn?
Not bad. How are you?
I'm doing good. How about yourself there, Shark Boy?
Hey, did the ladies call you Quick Man? How'd you get that? How'd you get that name?
I don't think that would be a compliment if they did. So.
I'm doing all right. How you doing, brother?
All right. I just called in to send out a formal challenge to the Spanish Fly.
A formal challenge to the Spanish Fly.
Caller of the year. I heard so much, and I don't think he's going to win this year.
Now, the whole thing, and this has been going on the last week, and for those of you that don't know, every year at the end of the year we have the year-end awards, and one of the categories we have is Caller of the Year, and we don't decide who the Caller of the Year is. This is open voting. In the last couple of years, we have a very popular caller named the Spanish Fly, who normally doesn't start calling in until around October. He hangs out for the year, writes all his material, and then from October through the end of the year, he's like on every week, cracking jokes, and very funny guy. And there's already people this year that are hell-bent on Spanish Fly not winning this award.
Right.
And it's what? It's like August, 29th? I don't know what the date is.
The callers themselves decide who wins Caller of the Year?
We have an address that we send mail to, emails, all this stuff, and they're already saying they don't want Fly to win. So, but we haven't even opened up the voting yet.
Right.
It's August.
It's real simple. Just vote for yourself.
There you go.
Then you have to win.
I wanted to give myself a little head start.
There you go.
There you go. Okay, Quick Man.
I'm voting for you, Quick Man.
All right.
Appreciate the phone call.
Uh-huh.
So, you're causing a bunch of trouble there. Quick Man now is officially endorsed by Shark Boy. So there's all kinds of trouble already there. So
wait till that hits the sheets, huh?
Now, speaking of the sheets, let me ask you about something, because a couple of weeks ago, Lash LaRue was on this program, and Lash LaRue, a member of World Championship Wrestling, a member of the Alliance or the Invasion, coming into the HWA, made a crack on you.
Yeah.
That got picked up on the internet like that.
Right.
And I know that it kind of bothered you, and you wanted to kind of maybe say something about it.
Oh, it didn't bother me. By the way, I love the work he's done in those 1-800-CALL-ATT commercials. Have you seen Lash on there?
I don't know.
The guy with the wild red hair? That's him, right?
I thought that was Carrot Top.
No.
That's Lash?
Is it Carrot Top?
No, you know what? It does look more like Lash now I'm thinking about it. I think that is Lash.
But Lash can say, you know what? Seriously, though, I respect Lash. I mean, he's a lot more than just buck teeth and sideburns. He's a tough wrestler. I went,
we talked about Fly saving up material. You've been writing stuff for 2 weeks just for this, haven't you?
Been saving up. No, I'm just looking forward to getting in the ring with him, because he really is a great wrestler, and I know we can tear it up and have some great matches. And as long as these WCW guys are in town, they're swimming in my water.
Absolutely.
So, come on, bring it on.
And tomorrow night, a lot of guys are going to be swimming in your water tomorrow night. Big show at Jillian's. Ray Steele, obviously, on the card, the HWA champion. Yourself. You also have, though, from the World Wrestling Federation and the Alliance, Rhino, the Big Show, Molly Holly, Canyon. They're all in the show, plus a number of the other WCW guys already in town, like Evan Courageous and Mike Sanders. And what's he going by now? Above Average?
Yeah.
Above Average Mike Sanders.
It was his moniker when he was in WCW. If you watched it, if you saw it.
I don't think I saw that part of it. I blocked that part of it out.
His finisher was a 3.0.
Right. Which is a great finisher. I do like the finish.
Yeah, it's neat.
Who else is on the show tomorrow night? Queeley's, I guess, on the show. Elix Skipper, Johnny the Bull. Who knows?
Those guys are all in town, so it could very well happen.
And tickets are available at Jillian's. There's going to be held up in the warehouse. And you've never been to Jillian's, great complex, because they got the food, they got the bowling, they got the video games. They got a great, what is that, hibachi bar? Or
yeah, I ate there the other night.
Where they throw the food up in the air and you got to catch it?
In your mouth.
It's absolutely a great place to go to, just across the river. And for details, go to hwaonline.com, although that card has been changed a little bit from what's going to be posted on there. And the phone number again for the HWA is 513-771-1650. Another thing I want to get into tonight is the entire mess going on right now with DirecTV and the World Wrestling Federation, as we've covered extensively. SummerSlam was the final pay-per-view that the World Wrestling Federation had with its agreement with DirecTV. And DirecTV has chosen, I guess there's a clause in their contract that they can take their contract to arbitration. DirecTV basically wants more jack out of the World Wrestling Federation. Up through June, the World Wrestling Federation, wrestling in general, has garnered 72% of all pay-per-view revenue, something like $135 million or something like that that's been drawn by just wrestling alone. And DirecTV wants more money because even though $135 million is a lot of money, that's down from last year because instead of 3 companies having a pay-per-view every month, you only have 1 company. So, but then you can also turn it around and say, Vince McMahon's got the only game in town, so he should be able to set the price, you would think. And the other thing, too, is that DirecTV is having some tough times right now also. They just laid off a bunch of workers and everything else. Wrestling fans are going to go wherever they can to watch the wrestling. Yeah. If you have DirecTV and you're a wrestling fan and all of a sudden they're not offering pay-per-views, well, guess what? You may go get Dish Network. You may go get Time Warner. You may go out to the sports bars. And that may be a problem in itself because I talked with a gentleman today in the World Wrestling Federation who told me that about 90% of all the sports bars that are in the WWF official blast area, these where you can go and they're licensed to show the pay-per-views, 90% of them use DirecTV to show the pay-per-views. So unless these sports bars have Time Warner Cable or cable system or some other alternative, they now are going to be frozen out of the pay-per-views also. So this is really becoming a bigger problem than what we originally thought. Well, they still haven't settled it then? They haven't come to gentleman told me today that it doesn't look like there's any way they would be able to resolve it in time for the Unforgiven pay-per-view next month to be shown on DirecTV. So it looks like at least for 1 month, no WWF pay-per-views on DirecTV, which just for 1 month, both companies stand to lose a couple $1 million at least. 866-910-WPFB is the phone number. More with the wrestling guys and our special guest, Shark Boy. When we come back, we are on AM 910, WPFB.
910 WPFB.
Back here on the Wrestling Guys, AM 910 WPFB. I'm Shawn Stidham. Willie. I've had the week off, so joining me is Shark Boy from the HWA. And again, go ahead and plug your website again.
www.sharkboy.net.
And toll-free number if you want to hop on board tonight, 866-910-WPFB. Don't forget to follow the latest wrestling news 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You do not need to pay $2 a minute. You can call the hotline Shark Boy calls, the Wrestling Guys hotline, 937-285-0991. You do call that, right?
Absolutely.
Of course you do. While you're on the show, you say you do. I appreciate that anyway. SmackDown happening this Thursday. Quick preview of what you will see. Includes U.S. title match between Canyon and Edge. Also a tag team match, mixed tag team match. Spike and Molly Holly, your tag team partner tomorrow night, will take on Hurricane Helms and Ivory. Also, you find out that there is now a ransom. Ransom for Moppy.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
So somebody actually did kidnap Moppy. He's not just missing.
No, somebody's kidnapped Moppy. And so they want $100,000 from Moppy. I don't know, Saturn has that kind of jack, That's tough.
Contracts are just not what they used to be right now.
Absolutely. Lance Storm against Tajiri, and also Kurt Angle will take on Booker T. All of that tomorrow night on SmackDown, which is seen in the Dayton area on Channel 44 and in Cincinnati on Channel 25. 866-910-WPFB, also the phone number if you want to hop on board tonight. China, don't forget, she is on Larry King tonight. She was supposed to be on last week, and then the whole mess with John Condit and all that, they bumped her.
Oh, that's right.
And so her appearance with Larry King will be tonight at 9 o'clock. You said that you heard Howard Stern wasn't too kind to her the other day.
No, I watched it a couple of nights ago on E! It was an older interview, though. It was when her book came out.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and I watched the rerun. Man, they were just brutal to her.
Well,
I kind of felt sorry for her. I really did.
You know what's kind of odd is, China, or Joni, what she wants to go by now, she has a new website, bodybyjoni.com.
Mm-hmm.
And I've, talked to China a few times, and a very sweet woman. Very nice anytime I've ever talked to her. And so the website came out, and I got this press release. So I called her manager.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, hey, I got your press release. I just want to see if China wanted to come on, and Joni wanted to come on and plug the website. And he said, well, Shawn, that'd be fine, except she really doesn't want to do anything associated with wrestling right now. And I said, well, that's fine. I said, if there's certain things that she doesn't want to talk about, I understand. I can respect that. We'll concentrate more on the new movies and, the website and everything else. And he said, well, your show's the wrestling guys.
Right.
And I said, yeah. And he goes, well, that's the problem.
Right.
And I said, well, wait a minute.
Did you offer to change the name of the show?
No, I'm not gonna change the name of the show.
Then you don't want Joni.
But the problem, I said, well, now wait a minute. I said, her fan base knows her because of wrestling.
Yeah, absolutely.
And her fan base will follow her wherever she goes.
That's right.
For the most part.
Mm-hmm.
So why don't you want to appeal to those fans or have her or talk with those fans? And this isn't coming from Joni. This is coming from him. So
right.
I don't know what the full story is. But she does have an appearance coming up next January at the Cavalcade of Customs or some kind of auto show down at the Cincinnati Convention Center. So maybe she'll change her mind when she's coming to town. But it was kind of odd, Don't want to have anything to do with wrestling. Don't want to do that.
You wonder whose strategy that is.
Whoever strategy it is, that strategy is going to suck. I'll tell you that right now. She's got a movie coming out with Scott Baio. When's the last time Scott Baio did a movie? Yeah. It's Scott Baio. I'm trying to think who else is in this movie. It's going to be direct-to-video. There's no question about it.
I bet nobody listening to this show figured they'd hear the names Carrot Top and Scott Baio in this one show.
You never know. You absolutely never know.
It's good to see those guys cashing checks, though. I'm happy for him.
Carrot Top?
Chachi was cool. Carrot Top, all right. He's no Gallagher. I'll tell you that much.
So you vote for Gallagher over Carrot Top?
Oh, yeah.
Really?
Well, Gallagher's old school.
But you see, Carrot Top, he did his thing in WWF, so maybe he has some contacts there. You need to make sure, you...
Well, I don't mean to burn any bridges.
Yeah, you don't want to do that.
And I love the hair.
Carrot Top's hair?
Sure.
I always loved the bit he did when he impersonated Wendy from the restaurant chain.
I remember that.
He puts the thing in the boat and goes, look, I'm Wendy!
Yeah.
Although, I don't know. And I can't believe we're talking about Carrot Top right now.
Gallagher came first, though. Don't you think he kind of got his stuff from Gallagher a little bit? And,
yeah.
And Gallagher used to say things like, what would chairs look like if your legs bent the other way? He made you think sometimes with some,
By the way, we are still the wrestling guys. We're just talking about stand-up comedians for whatever reason.
Yeah.
But it's just me or Carrot Top has some serious plastic surgery. He looks like he's had some things pulled and stretched. And,
I hadn't noticed.
Huh?
I hadn't noticed.
I saw him on a commercial the other night. I'm like, my God. But anyway. You ever heard of a guy named James Champagne? Wrestles up in Canada? This guy's nuts. Toronto Star. Let me ask you something. What is the longest stretch or the most hectic stretch you've ever worked? You've been in the business now 6 years.
Like how many days straight, you mean?
Days straight or most matches. Yeah. What's the most days you work straight?
For me, I've never, I have yet to wrestle overseas, but like 4 days in a row on the road, something like that. That'd probably be the longest stretch for me.
Toronto Star did an article yesterday on James Champagne, who wrestles for a promotion up there called ACW. He is in the middle of working 50 matches over a 3-week period.
How?
I don't know. 21 days.
Send me your secret.
50 matches. And I guess, he's...
Is he working for free? Because
he must be.
If you can find 50 paying gigs in 3 weeks...
50 matches in 3 weeks.
You're pretty connected as an independent wrestler.
So far, he's already got a pulled quad, a broken finger, and his entire body is banged up.
And then there's that.
I'm just trying to think how anybody can handle 50 matches in 3 weeks.
That's a lot of driving. I mean, that would have to be.
I mean, that's...
You're in the car, and you'd have to work like 2 or 3 times on each show.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's just amazing. I'm trying to hunt that guy down.
Maybe he's just running out there and like getting squashed every time. Just runs out and takes a finisher. There's one.
Kind of like Sid Vicious when he was trying to go after Goldberg's streak. If he powerbombed somebody, it counts as a win. So
I was thinking more like Lash LaRue.
Well, you got Lash LaRue on the brain, don't you? Okay.
Not really.
Raw
everybody's asking me about it. Everybody's talking about it. So
Raw this past Monday night did a 4.8 rating, which is down from the previous 5.2s that it's been generating over the last couple of weeks. So again, the highest rated segment. No surprise here. The Rock and Rhino match at 5.2. Dave Meltzer, Wrestling Observer, did a pretty interesting piece today I told you I wasn't going to pitch any hot water. I may do so on this one. I don't know. But if you need to bag out, I understand. But he talked about how the WWF is really looking at a problem potentially in a few months because it appears more and more that The Rock is going to be making more of a commitment to Hollywood. Universal Studios has made a couple of demands on him for some films. He's getting contract pitches every week. And I've said before, with The Rock being a new dad, you know how this is. If you can get paid $5 million to work a movie, for 3 or 4 months and spend the rest of the time at home and not have the wear and tear on the body, and plus after you've accomplished, there's nothing really else left for him to do. He's headlined WrestleMania. He's won the WWF World Title. He's won the WCW World Title. So any of the goals that maybe somebody would have, he's pretty much achieved those at a very young age. Steve Austin, you never know how long he's going to be around because he's got his injury history. The Undertaker's looking at, probably a year or two maximum of being a full-time performer. Who else does the World Wrestling Federation have that they're going to be able to rely on? Because they're really not pushing guys to, fast enough. And who is there to push?
Yeah, I think Triple H for sure.
Sure.
When he's healthy.
Triple H comes back.
Right.
Benoit comes back. Yeah, that's a positive.
Kurt Angle, no doubt about it.
But you need more, don't you?
Well, yeah, but I don't know. I think Vince is smart enough. I think he's taking the steps toward doing what he needs to do to elevate certain wrestlers. Look at his track record.
I agree, but I'm just saying
what was Dave saying the problem would be? Just that they're not pushing younger guys
right,
fast
exactly.
enough.
That, they could be in a situation. Again, Undertaker has a really bad injury history. Austin has a bad injury history. Let's say, within the month, hopefully nothing happens, but Austin gets hurt again, Undertaker gets hurt again, and Rock decides to go make another movie. Triple H doesn't come back until, December or January. Benoit's not back till February of next year. You're stuck again. So unless you start pushing some other talent, because I don't think, even though I love Chris Jericho, I don't think that the, WWF audience has, adapted to him like they thought they would. Being a number one guy in the company, I don't think that could be happening.
I think RVD's in a very favorable position. I think he's really gotten over. He's really hot, really quick, and hopefully, the fans won't burn out on him. I don't think they will. He mixes his offense up. He has some pretty entertaining matches, I think.
The nice thing about Rob is that so many times people said, well, his style would never work in the World Wrestling Federation, and he's found a way to take his style and modify it so that it does work in the WWF. And what I think is becoming frustrating for some people in the company is that Rob goes out there and busts his ass every single time, and the people love it, and he raises the bar sometimes, and I don't know if everybody wants to work at that same level that he does.
We can say ass.
You can say ass.
Oh, cool.
You have to modify it, though. You have to kind of do it in moderation.
Right.
Okay.
What were we talking about? RVD.
RVD, yeah.
I think it's brilliant that he's got the hardcore title because that's just right up his alley. He can go outside and use the rails. He can use the chairs at will. I just think that's the perfect division for him to compete in, and it works in the WWF. Like you said, he's altered his style enough that it fits right in with the WWF. So
let me ask you something else. Monday night, apparently a fan, for whatever reason, thought it'd be really cool to go meet Jim Ross. Problem was that
I read about that. Yeah,
Jim Ross was making his way backstage after Raw went off the air. This guy actually jumped the railing and got backstage before getting beat down by security and everybody else. What's been the wildest thing that's happened to you with a fan? I know there's some wild stories.
Oh, man, now you're putting me on the spot. Can you give me a commercial to think about that?
Okay, I'll tell you what, we'll give you a commercial when we come back. Shark Boy reveals all on the Wrestling Guys.
There you go.
AM 910 WPFB. We'll be right back.
And now if you're like AM 910 WPFB.
Would you like to start your own business right now from your home with immediate capital?
You're listening to Shawn, Stidham, and Willie F., the Wrestling Guys, on AM 910 WPFB.
Back here on the Wrestling Guys. Now, before the break, we were talking about a fan who jumped the rail after Raw went off the air this past Monday trying to meet Jim Ross and got beat down. And you've seen it a number of times, whether it be on pay-per-view or at a house show, where some fan who, for whatever reason, thinks that he can get involved in the action, he jumps the rail or he takes a swing at somebody and, finds out quickly that he's really not cut out to be in the wrestling business or that his interaction was not necessary. And I asked you going into the break, you've been in the business now 6 years, 7 years. Obviously, you've probably had something at some point happen while you were in a match where a fan tried to get involved. What's been the wildest thing?
When I first broke in, I started out as a referee, and I was refereeing a match in Kentucky, and I won't name the town. And the match was one of those falls count anywhere, no disqualification kind of things.
All over the building.
They were fighting everywhere, literally out into the crowd. You know, it was wild. There wasn't even any security or anything. And here I'm the referee. Okay, so from a call that I'd made earlier that had upset this woman, she decides to pick up her chair and come after me. And I think it was her sister or friend, so whoever was there with her, was literally having to restrain her. And she had a beer in one hand.
Now, the match isn't over yet.
No, it's during the match.
And she ticked over something you did earlier.
Yeah, it was like I didn't see some guy using the ropes or something like that. And, yeah.
So she was literally going to take the chair and beat some sense into you.
She had one of those beers that was like bigger than her head. And a chair in the other hand, and she was coming after me. Yeah, and there was no security, so, and I'm literally like trying to call the match still, and really I was.
So what'd you do?
Well, I mean, she kind of was restrained by her sister, where I went to the other side of the fight. I walked around the wrestlers. I put the fight between me and the woman.
Good idea.
Yeah.
Good idea. Nice thinking, quick on your feet.
Ring positioning.
Absolutely. Let's go back to the phone lines and talk to Casey. You're on the Wrestling Guys, AM 910, WPFB.
Hey, what's going on, guys?
How you doing, Casey? Talk to Shark Boy.
Shark Boy, great show last night. I was there front row, but you think you're ever going to take off the mask and start like a new gimmick or something?
I don't know. Maybe. You never know. Right now, it seems to be working so well that I think it'd be kind of silly on my part to, I couldn't give it up if I wanted to right now. But yeah, at some point, maybe.
Casey, you go to a lot of the HWA shows. I know you're a big HWA fan. You're a big fan of Shark Boy?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I was there last night, front row. Wheelie was yelling at my friend in the front row.
Oh, yeah, I saw that. Did you see what I did?
Yeah, he's trying to help, man. He was yelling. I don't know what his problem was. I don't know if he's playing or what's going on, but he was crazy.
He said, I think he was yelling because he said your friend threw something and hit him in the groin.
Oh, it did?
Yeah, well, things got crazy last night.
Oh, it did, man.
WCW and the HWA, everybody came out into the ring, and there was this massive brawl. And somewhere along the line, some signs got ripped up and thrown at the fans, and then the fans started throwing the signs back. Queely got hit in the groin, and then he went over and got in the fan's face, and I literally reached out and pulled Queely's hair, which, as you know, makes him transform into Angry Alan. So he turned into Angry Alan, only he didn't get angry at me, he got angry at the guy that whacked him with the sign. So.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a whole Bill Bixby Incredible Hulk thing with him, isn't it?
That's exactly what it is. As soon as you touch Queely's hair, he becomes Angry Alan.
So we've covered, superheroes tonight? We've covered stand-up comedians.
Carrot Top.
There we go. Hey, Casey, appreciate the phone call.
All right.
Take care of yourself.
Casey.
Bye-bye. Yeah, you guys have really been drawing a nice little crowd down there at the HWA on Tuesdays with the Tuesday night showcase. It's like, what, $2 to get in?
Yeah.
And, probably like about 140 last night, 150?
Something like that. Jam-packed in there. And, you see like 8 or 9 matches for $2. And these guys were on national television and are going to be again, some of them.
Yeah, and then last week you had, Mark Henry made a surprise appearance.
Right.
And you kind of never know who's going to be appearing now with the whole developmental how's that going right now? I know everybody was real excited in the area that HWA is going to now the developmental territory for the World Wrestling Federation. How to make you guys down there, especially a guy like yourself who's been down there so long, 6 years, go like, wow, here we go, another chance for the big time.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's a great opportunity for everybody involved with the company. And for me, more than anything, I was actually really looking forward to seeing my old buddies from the power plant, and then they came up here with the we're here to take over kind of attitude, and, we're not going to let it happen, though, as the HWA, speaking as a member of the HWA.
No, they didn't, bend you a little bit and say, hey, now wait a minute, guy, come on, we used to be down the landing together at the power plant, come on, come play with us again.
Well, they knew I wasn't going to hear it. I mean, I've been here too long. I've been with this group of people too long. I've bonded with them, too, so there's no way. HWA, it's in my blood, so
there you go.
That's where I am.
You ever read Reader's Digest? You seem like a Reader's Digest kind of guy. I've always thought that about you. Guys in blue and black masks, I just think, tend to like Reader's Digest. Yeah. Among other publications, probably, but
That's one of those magazines that I would never subscribe to or actually buy it, but if I'm in somebody's waiting room, that's like the first thing I'll pick up.
They have an article coming out in September on the McMahon family, so it should be kind of interesting to see what they have written about them. So apparently there's some book about Vince McMahon coming out that people are saying is a load of crap, but I haven't got a chance to see it yet. So I'll reserve judgment because I haven't had a chance to actually read it myself. So we shall see. Recap some of the news we talked about at the beginning of the program. SmackDown next week is going to be live Apparently UPN feels like that the MTV Music Awards on Thursday would be some stiff competition, so they decided that they do not want to compete against Britney Spears and her brand new song. They want to go by themselves on Tuesday live.
Yeah, well, it's the same demographic, the same kind of fans, same kind of people generally watch both shows.
And I think there's a couple of WWF guys are going to be presenting on the MTV Awards too.
Really?
So yeah, I think Rock's going to be there again. So, makes sense, I guess, to do that and not to have the conflict of interest. I guess. Also, next. Hold on, sorry about that. A little lost the train right there. Vince McMahon, ABC.com has.
I was thinking about Britney Spears.
I was thinking about Britney Spears, and it just got me, I guess. I don't know. ABCNews.com has Vince McMahon. He comments about Backyard Pro Wrestling. Those of you may want to check that out. This is what I meant. Kane is expected to be out of the hospital next week. He is still recovering from a severe elbow infection. And even though he's out next week, I don't think that he'll be back immediately because anytime you have an infection like that, you typically will lose a lot of weight. And I would think that, if he loses... Because I had an infection like that about 3 or 4 years ago.
No, that was a different kind of infection.
Well, yeah, but still, I lost some. The best diet in the world, though. You get an infection like that, you're in the hospital for a week, you drop 20, 30 pounds like that. If you need a quick crash diet, get an infection.
That's great.
That's my tip for the day.
You should start a health show.
I thought about that. Maybe, market that in an infomercial or something like that, but, we'll see what happens. Yeah, that's probably some FDA violation or regulation against that, though. Don't forget, tomorrow night down at Jillian's, the Heartland Wrestling Association in action with the World Wrestling Federation and WCW. You have Rhino, you've got Canyon, you've got Molly Holly, you've got the Big Show all in town, plus you got the likes of Shark Boy and Ray Steele, and I guess the Alliance is going to be there, the Invasion with Lash LaRue and Mike Sanders and that group of guys. And they're bringing in Rhino, so Canyon, those two guys are bringing in the big guns.
Absolutely.
Now, what's the updated card? Because I know that the website has made some changes. You have the actual updated card.
I was at Jillian's. I was at Jillian's last week, and the card that was hanging everywhere in the building said that the main event is a 6-man tag team match that pits the Big Show and the Haas brothers against Chris Canyon, above average Mike Sanders, and Mark Jindrak. And then Ray Steele is apparently going to take on Rhino in a hardcore match, and I'm not sure, but I think the HWA title might be up for grabs.
Really?
Yeah.
Rhino's a tough guy. I mean, he's one of the top guys in the Alliance, so...
Especially in a hardcore match.
Yeah, former ECW World Champion, so that he certainly knows what hardcore is all about, and for Race getting involved in that kind of match with the HWA title on the line, you've got to wonder, because, geez.
And then, of course, I'm teaming with Molly Holly to take on Evan Courageous and Victoria.
And Spike's okay with that, you said?
I don't know if he is or not,
He may be getting some trouble.
What? I might be bigger than Spike. I can't say that about too many guys in the business.
Me and Spike Dudley, and that's about it, but I'm not really in the business. So, anyway, if you're getting your website, sharkboy.net.
Yep. Check it out, please. Come, and you can actually email me straight from the website. I don't know if I've mentioned that yet or not, but we can talk pretty much one-on-one if you stop by the site and drop
a private chat with Shark Boy.
There you go.
Intimate conversation. Doesn't even cost you,
People always ask me, what advice do you give people getting into the business or that want to get in the business? And this business is too, you can't just give blanket advice other than be careful who you trust and things like that. I mean, you have to, you got to tell me a little bit about yourself, what your goals are, that type of thing. So drop me an email. Let's talk about it.
I think that, again, as in sharkboy.net. Where else are you going to be? I know, obviously, you work for the HWA a lot for the majority of the time, but I know also, you pop around other places, too. What's your schedule like coming up?
Busy. Actually, mostly just HWA the next couple of 3 weeks. Of course, we're getting ready to start the new television show. Have we talked about that on this show?
We talked about it, but let's remind everybody that starting on September the 8th, the Heartland Wrestling Association debuts its brand new TV show, Saturday nights at midnight on Fox 45, and apparently soon after that they'll also be on in Cincinnati down Channel 25, but most people, Fox 45 is available on most cable outlets and pretty good signal, so you should be able to get Fox 45 wherever you're listening to this program. You should be able to get Fox 45. Yeah. But I know that's you guys have been busting your hump so long to finally have that TV deal. I know it's a big accomplishment, and congratulations to all you guys for that.
Thanks. It's going to be great. See, that's one night a week, and then we do the Tuesday night show, and then there's always a show Thursday, Friday, or Saturday, depending on,
sometimes 2 or 3 days.
So you're talking about 3 HWA dates a week on average are going to be happening, and then plus any other outside work that I can round up, which, there again, if you're a promoter or whatever, and you want to book me, sharkboy.net. There you go. I'm always looking for other work. I love to get out and perform. I love to meet fans. I love to travel. Love to go to different states and different cities and meet different people. And so,
we got about a minute or so before we go up there. Best opponent you've ever faced?
Oh man, jeez, that's not putting me on the spot or anything.
I'm sorry about that. I know. I know one of your favorite guys is Mick Foley, and Mick Foley absolutely loves you. If you get the Hard Knocks and Cheap Pops DVD, he does a nice job pushing the Shark Boy shirt by wearing that.
Yeah.
I assume you had to give that to him free.
Hey.
No, what I'm saying, Mick loves free shirts, and and that's probably how you got your in with Mick, because you gave him the free shirt. You got a friend for life.
No, it's not like I went up and said, "Hey Mick, it looks like you could use a Shark Boy shirt." He said, I love the gimmick. Can I have one of your shirts? And so, I gave him a shirt. And I'll tell you what, I don't know if I can tell you who my favorite opponent. One of my favorite matches I was ever a part of was a three-way I did with Eddie Guerrero and Billy Kidman at the show for Mark Curtis shortly before he passed away. Yeah. And that was just, what an experience. Those two guys are so smooth in the ring.
And plus, on that occasion, too, it was a tribute for Mark.
Oh, yeah,
and
absolutely.
in front of him, it was had to be a special thrill.
And he was actually literally...
And Mick and Al marked out.
Yeah.
I'm serious.
Yeah.
And they came up and they had the bag, and Les goes, "Here's the shirt you wanted." And Mick goes, "The Shark Boy shirt?" And Al goes, you want the Shark Boy stuff? I mean, totally, those two guys absolutely love the gimmick, and I know they have a lot of respect for you. I want to thank you for coming on tonight, filling in for Willie F. Very nice job.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, anytime you have to do it again and again. If those of you out there want to get in touch with him, at sharkboy.net, and personal one-on-one advice from Shark Boy. Not just about wrestling, advice about love, and fixing your car, computers, whatever.
Comedy. What else did we talk? Sex.
Everything.
Stay away from the sex. Never mind.
You're listening to the Wrestling Guys, AM 910 WPFB. Thanks a lot. See you later. Good evening to you. I am Shawn Stidham. He is Willie F. back in the studio. And once again, we are the Wrestling Guys on AM 910 WPFB. The toll-free number if you want to hop on board tonight, 866-910 WPFB. Dwight Smith answering the phones. Make sure you say hi to him, and a lot of stuff to get into. And for the first time, I think maybe in the first time in the history of this program, William F., we actually get to talk about what happened on SmackDown.
That's right.
Normally, SmackDown's taped on Tuesday, and we don't want to reveal anything that happened, so we say, okay, if you want to get the results of SmackDown, call the Wrestling Guys hotline at 937-285-0991. But in this case, SmackDown was last night. We can talk about it. Great show last night, too.
Well, you know what, Shawn? I have a little bit of confession to make about SmackDown.
You're confessing?
I am confessing. I did not watch SmackDown last night.
What?
Now,
and you are a wrestling guy?
I know. Now, I know that I should have probably been at home calling all the other hotlines that are out there, making sure that I know that I'm completely up to date with what's going on in the rest of the area. But at the HWA show, call me a shill, call me whatever you want to. I know our critics will have much fun with this. But the thing is, you know what? That's what I was doing. That's what I love to do, and that's what I will continue to do. And unless somebody else wants to call in and say, hey, this is what we're doing this weekend, shut the hell up. Thank you, critics. Told you.
You feel better now?
I told you it was going to be fun tonight, didn't I?
Yes, you did. All right.
Okay.
Anyway, 866-910-WPFB.
And quit trying to disguise your voice on the hotline because it's really horrible.
I must have missed something. Is there a message I missed?
I don't know.
Okay, we'll have to... I think this may be an off-the-air conversation.
Why?
Anyway, no. But anyway, let's get into the news first, shall we?
Sure, go ahead.
All right. SmackDown last night drew a 4.6 rating, just slightly down from what they normally do on Thursdays, given the fact they had limited time to promote the fact they were switching to a Tuesday night. WWF quite pleased with that rating. And actually, I liked SmackDown on Tuesday night. For one selfish reason, because I'm a big CSI fan on Thursday. So it's no conflict for me now.
I thought you were going to say friends.
Well, no, it's my wife.
Okay. All right.
Anyway, I just took your tip. Rob Van Dam last night, you got to give it up to RVD. It is so great to see somebody that is now getting over with the fans, not because of a cute catchphrase and not because of a great T-shirt or anything else other than busting their hump in the ring. Yeah. And Rob Van Dam has done that. The reaction the fans in Toronto gave last night when Stone Cold Steve Austin opened the dressing room door to find out who he was going to fight and Rob Van Dam was standing there, The Rock would not have gotten a better reaction than Rob Van Dam did last night.
I didn't see it.
I'll get you the tape.
Yeah,
so you'll be more prepared when you do this show.
Yeah, please. because I'm such a shell.
You did. Last night on SmackDown, they did announce that there will be Virginia a Tough Enough 2. Applications will now be taken
I
online.
saw that.
Yeah.
Are you going to sign up this time?
No, I'm out.
You're not?
Yeah, toughenough.com is the place. You do have to be at least 18, and there's a few other eligibility requirements. I think Dwight is going to, the guy answering their phone's not.
Dwight's going to sign up for it?
I think Dwight's going to do it.
I think there's a lot of people in this area that should sign up for it, actually.
Would you like to name names?
You know what? I won't go that far. Maybe I'll do that in my column when I finally get around to writing it.
It's somewhere on all those dusty law books.
Yeah.
Stone Cold Steve Austin did need a couple of stitches last night after getting cut with the chair. Apparently, there's some speculation now backstage in the WWF that they may outlaw the Bandaminator, much like they've done away with The Undertaker's Tombstone, because it is a hard move to take. It's a very painful move to take, steel chair to the face.
Right.
And, the risk of injury is high, as you saw with Stone Cold Steve Austin. Austin apparently was not upset backstage last night, just said, hey, it's part of the business, and it happens. But still, the management's going, maybe we need to look at that move just a little more.
Well, I mean, but he's been doing it for so long, though, too. And there has to be, at least 50 guys that are taking that move. At least.
Yeah. And
most of them are there in the WWF right now anyway, so what's the big deal?
Most of those guys work for Extreme Championship Wrestling, and ECW was told on August 31st by the judge who's overseeing their bankruptcy case that a number of parties have to submit to examination and produce documents related to the case. Among those that were named, outside of Paul Heyman, was the World Wrestling Federation and TNN. The judge in the case wants to look at the relationship between the World Wrestling Federation and ECW, and there's a lot of things right there that are considered a little shady. Why did ECW sue TNN once, they got canceled after they said they were going to? How long was the relationship between Paul Heyman and Vince McMahon in place? They feel like that maybe that relationship prevented a lot of creditors from getting money that was owed to them. So this is going to be a very interesting case to find out what happens here.
I think that Vince McMahon took on the U.S. government and won. Do you think he's not going to be able to take on this?
No, he'll be fine.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
He'll be just fine. In case you missed this announcement earlier in the week, WrestleMania X8 will be happening next year, March 17th, from the Sky Dome in Toronto, Canada. Tickets will go on sale Saturday, November the 3rd, and you can find all the information at WrestleMania.com. They are going to be having a special travel package, that will consist of access to the fan access. How's that for a little segue there? Which, of course, is the meet and greet with World Wrestling Federation superstars. And people can get photos taken and put them up on their website and have a lot of fun with that. A 2-day Toronto Transit Commission pass and WrestleMania X souvenirs, as well as your tickets for the event. And, again, all the information available at WrestleMania.com.
That's right. Actually, I heard that, at Access, too, you can catch people right when they're coming out of the building.
Really?
Too, and catch a good photo with them.
That'd be
Definitely.
great.
That would be.
Absolutely. Correct me if I'm wrong. Wasn't Terry Funk supposed to retire in July of this year?
What? It was July of this year? I think that's...
Didn't he hold the press conference, seriously, last fall?
Yeah, but he's done that every July, hasn't he?
The annual July retirement announcement.
Sort of like G.G. Allen. Remember G.G. Allen, who always said that he was a punk rocker who always said he was going to kill himself on Halloween? Do you remember? You don't remember him?
I don't remember
maybe some people do. But I think it was the same thing with Terry Funk. Terry Funk always says he's going to retire in July.
Well, Terry Funk's coming back October the 8th. He's going to be wrestling at the New Japan Tokyo's Dome show. This time he'll be teaming up once again with his brother, Dory Funk Jr., his older brother at that.
Yeah.
How old's Terry Funk, 56?
Yeah.
56, 57?
Yeah, I think 57.
So Dory's like 59, 60?
Yeah.
Okay. They're going to be wrestling Tatsumi Funami and Bob Backlund.
Well, that would make me come out of retirement right there.
The wrestle Bob Backlund?
Sure. I mean, the guy almost held office. He was only 20,000 votes away or something like that.
So anyway,
that's a rub.
Terry Funk making a comeback. The phone number again, toll free, 866-910-WPFB. We'll talk about SmackDown, talk about a lot of things happening here around the area, and your phone calls when we come back. We are the wrestling
going on around the area?
There's a bunch of stuff happening around the area.
Okay, I had to know that.
We'll talk about that.
Okay.
We are the wrestling guys. Get your
sorry. On 910 AM, WPFB.
The wrestling guys, there is a ton of football on AM 910 this weekend. Friday, it's the Middletown Middies against Sycamore. Saturday, 2 games. The Buckeyes kick off their season against Akron, and then the Fenwick Falcons are on the air here Saturday night against Batavia with the old coach Jack Gordon call the audio action.
I've been to Batavia.
Have you been to Batavia?
Yeah.
Why did you go to Batavia?
I can't talk about it because I'm such a shell.
866-910-WPFB, the phone number. Let's take the first call of the night, and we go to line 1, Bud Rowe. You're on the wrestling guys.
What's up, people?
Okay, what's up?
Oh, not much. First of all, I want to say that the Middletown Minis are going to whip Sycamore's butt this Friday, and I will personally be in attendance to make sure that happens.
Well, that's good, because after all, I'm sure the football team can use your support.
Of course, you know. I want to talk...
Yeah, but I got a question now. Doesn't the mascot outfit itch?
Kinda, but what would I know about that?
I don't know. You said you're going to be there.
Of course I'm going to be there.
Okay.
You know? I'm always there at all the mini games.
Okay.
Anyway, first of all, I'd like to say that I am now throwing my name into the hat for the nominations for 2001 Wrestling Guys Caller of the Year.
Okay, you're done. That's it. You cannot shill for yourself for Caller of the Year.
Someone else has to nominate you.
And here's the thing. It is, what's today's date? September 5th? I don't even know what the heck's today's date. The 8th, 4th, whatever. I don't know. It's September.
Today's the 5th.
The Caller of the Year award, all the awards happen in December. We open up the voting. Thank you. It's September 6th. We open up the voting like what? November 1st? November 15th?
Yeah.
Something like that?
There's still 2 months. Well, you know what? It's just because our culture now, Shawn, keeps getting pushed back and back. You walk into any supermarket right now, any major supermarket right now, and what do they have on the shelves, Shawn? They have Halloween candy. So see, I don't blame, now granted, Bud Rowe probably has some kind of mental condition. I don't blame him just per se. I blame the supermarkets of this area who have decided to put out Halloween candy, and it just throws everyone's dates right off.
So you're blaming like Hershey and Reese and all those guys?
I blame all of them. And you know what? Christmas trees are coming next.
They're right around the corner. And right after that, actually, I was driving by the other day. I passed a banquet hall, and they've already got their New Year's Eve packages advertising. Yes, they do. I'm being quite serious about that. So anyway, 866-910-WPFB. Dwight will be in.
Is there a big run at bingo halls on New Year's Eve?
I don't know. I'm not really a big bingo fan, so I really couldn't tell you about that.
I mean, granted, I know there's enough Elvis impersonators to fill each one of those on New Year's Eve.
A couple of things happening this weekend. On Saturday, Outlaw Championship Wrestling will be running at the John Bryan Community Center in Yellow Springs, with a big 6-man, 8-man tag weapons match happening up there, and so that will be exciting. Also, Saturday night, by the way, if you want information on OCW, 937-229-8189, or you can visit their website at outlawchampionshipwrestling.com. Also, Saturday night at midnight, the Heartland Wrestling Association's brand new television show makes its debut on WRGT Fox 45 at midnight following Mad TV. And a big moment for the HWA. Jim Cornette's going to be one of the announcers on the program. So if you're looking for something new to watch outside of the World Wrestling Federation, you can now watch the HWA Saturdays at midnight.
Now, you actually saw a preview of this, didn't you? I saw some of it.
I actually had a chance to look at a copy of the tape.
Okay, what'd you think of it?
Very good.
Are you showing?
Very good. I guess I am. A very good program. It's definitely... if you miss some of the old traditional ways that wrestling used to be shown on television,
yes,
there's a lot of that in there. And granted, it's more of a traditional style of wrestling, I should say modern-day style as far as what the guys are doing in the ring, but the arena and the setup and everything else is very, very nice. It's from the Davis Arena in Jeffersonville, Indiana, the same place that Ohio Valley has their programs at, hence the Jim Cornette connection. But great job the first time out. Ray Steele defends the HWA title against Jason Jett. You've also got HWA Cruiserweight match with Matt Stryker taking on Jamie Noble. So a very good effort by the HWA. And again, Saturday nights at midnight on Fox 45, a great time slot, and hopefully bigger and better things for them as well.
We shall see.
All right.
I think so.
Absolutely. Dwight's walking in here. He's got a phone. Dwight. So let's see what Dwight has a message for us. Okay. Uh-oh.
What is it?
Okay, let's go to this call.
Okay.
Cam, welcome to the Wrestling Guys.
Hey, how you guys doing?
Cam the Man Collins, back here on the Wrestling Guys, wants to talk about SmackDown.
This is my first call to the new show.
What the heck's been wrong with you?
What's wrong with me?
I mean, normally you call in every week or something, and we haven't had any luck from you, man.
Well, actually, I just wanted to call tonight and actually just tell Willie he's nothing but a big shill.
Thank you. I know. Because there's only certain things that I talk about, and gosh darn me, I'm sorry if that's the only information that I have, because no one else calls up from any other place and tells us what's going on, even though we give this nice 800 number out every single week, but yet we get criticized that we only follow one organization. So there you go.
Wait a a minute. I thought Shawn did the column on critics.
I did do a column on critics.
I'm just following up on it.
Oh, okay. All right.
Shawn needs to show me how to write, and then I'll be able to do a column.
Dust off your keyboards and get busy.
That's it.
What's up, Cam?
Well, I've been the wrestling vixen, so I'm not sure if it's dust.
No, I will add, though, that like Willie, I was unable to catch SmackDown except for the main event. So he's not the only one out there that gets caught off guard by these kind of...
You know, is there a printing press behind you?
I was going to say, are you operating heavy machinery? Because, the side of the bottle says you shouldn't.
What are you talking about?
You got some background noise. Anyway, so what do you think of Rob Van Dam and Stone Cold Steve Austin last night?
Let me do that. There we go. Actually, that was the only match I caught, and I thought it was awesome. I actually thought they should have let Christian do the same thing to The Rock on Monday.
I agree with you.
I thought that would have been huge. Even if he would have lost the WCW title last night on SmackDown the follow-up night, it would have just done a world of good for his character and the whole storyline.
See, I thought that would be perfect, because then Christian, Edge could make a little comment to Christian about, you can only hold your belt for one day. What is that?
Right.
Or even Edge could have helped Christian get the win.
Right.
And there were all sorts of ways they could have gone about it, but to me personally, it's just nice to see one of the, top name do the job and put an up-and-comer over like that, because as Shawn said, the moment Rob Van Dam stepped foot in the WWF, he started getting huge pops. People just knew about Rob Van Dam. And it was kind of like the biggest name that most mainstream fans had never seen.
Well, the guy wrestles a style that if you've only watched the WWF over the last few years, you're not used to seeing guys do night in and night out what he does.
Right.
So that has impressed the fans to the point where he does get... I firmly agree I believe that last night when Steve Austin opened up that door, The Rock would not have gotten a bigger reaction than what Rob Van Dam received last night.
Yeah, and to say that you're thinking about outlawing the Van Daminator, to me that's ridiculous. If you're going to do that, you're going to have to outlaw the steel chair in its entirety. Because what's the difference between you holding a chair stationary in front of your face and getting it kicked in your face? What's different than, a lot of guys don't even get their hands up anymore, and they take chair shots flush in the head.
Right.
So, what's really going to do more damage? Something you're totally prepared for, or something you just close your eyes, grit your teeth, and take?
Like Edge took a nice-looking chair shot from Christian on Monday.
Yeah, but it's one of those situations, Cam, that, how many times did The Undertaker perform the Tombstone and nothing at all happened, but then, one incident happens with Stone Cold Steve Austin and Owen Hart, and, it gets outlawed.
Yeah, they're your common denominator. I think Stone Cold Steve Austin's a big crybaby. And I know he's listening to the show. I'm just kidding, Steve, really.
Actually, you got to give Steve a lot of credit for last night, not only putting Rob Van Dam over the way he did, but also taking the spot that he did, doing the suplex on the ramp and going over the rail into the crowd.
Yeah, that shocked me. That to me was insane, given his even his most recent injuries at the hands of Booker T when Booker came on the scene. For Austin to do that stuff, it was really impressive. But the whole thing, that's the last 20 minutes I saw of SmackDown, and it's like Stone Cold Steve Austin, the guy is awesome for doing that stuff. So hats off to him, absolutely.
Now, did you get a chance to hear about what happened after the cameras turned off?
Yeah.
And for those of you listening that didn't hear about this is one of the great things. When you go see a Raw, you go see a SmackDown Live, there's things that happen that's done exclusively for the fans in the building that you would never see happen on TV. After the cameras went off last night, Stone Cold Steve Austin called Rob Van Dam back down to the ring, and they started fighting again. Rob Van Dam nailed him with a spin kick, did the 5-star frog splash, and pinned Steve Austin again in the ring. So Austin laying in the ring, Taz comes in to help out Stone Cold Steve Austin. Austin begins singing to the crowd. First thing he starts singing, and remember, they're in Canada. Right. He begins singing the Star-Spangled Banner. A great way to get heat. Mm-hmm. Followed up by, what was next?
I just remember the finale.
Yeah, he ended up doing Kumbaya, and then when the fans started singing along with him, he stopped. He didn't want the fans singing with him. So Taz begins helping Stone Cold Steve Austin up the ramp, back to the dressing room. Sergeant Slaughter comes out onto the ramp and nails them both with a clothesline, which is beautiful. Slaughter leaves, and then Taz ends up getting CPR from Austin to get back up and back to the dressing
I just want to know, though, if Sergeant Slaughter comes out, where were the Stormtrooper referees? Because he always has those guys.
Yeah, it's kind of amazing to see. A lot of people would say this late in the game for Austin, there are more dynamics of his personality and his talents being played out now that he's a heel. And yeah, he gets over the top a little bit with the whiny stuff.
What?
And that, but to
What?
me, it's absolutely hilarious.
What? I hate that. I'm sorry.
But you know what?
It's a good kind of hate, yeah.
Exactly. People are looking at that going, man, I can't stand it when he does that.
Yeah,
it drives me nuts. That's what he's supposed to do.
Exactly. I mean, that's what kills me, too. People will say, this is downright irritating. They can't stand to watch it, yet they don't turn away from the TV the entire time.
Exactly.
They sit there and watch it, and you're right. He's doing his job and doing it very well.
Hey, Cam, we got
sort of like going to... No, never
Don't
mind.
do that. I didn't say anything. Cam, thanks a lot for the phone call, man.
All right, thanks, guys.
Take care. Cam the Man Collins, always a pleasure.
You're going to get me in trouble. I wasn't even saying
You're getting yourself in trouble tonight.
I am?
I think you may be on the verge of it.
Good.
I'm not positive.
So that means I'm going to get a whole bunch of hate mail on the message board and everything.
By the way, if you would like to check out the message board, go to the all new Rebel 105.9.
I'm a shill and a Segway genius.
All you got to do if you want to go to the message board or anything else, go to 1059therebel.com, click on the Pro Wrestling link. That will take you directly to the Wrestling Guys website, which features columns, message boards, and a whole bunch of fun, including a couple polls we have up right now. One poll asks, who do you believe it was the greatest WWF World Champion of all time? There's 10 choices. Take your pick. There's also another poll, which former WCW wrestler right now do you miss the most? The guys that are still under the AOL Time Warner deal. Ric Flair, Bill Goldberg, Kevin Nash. You get your choice of those also.
Do I get a pick, though, like an 80s Flair, versus the late 90s Flair?
What, is this like, the fat Elvis and the young Elvis?
Well, sure, because I think they're two different things.
No, it's Ric Flair in his current state.
No, well, so you're talking the straight jacket Ric Flair?
Not the straight jacket. More
come on, that's
I don't know, just Ric Flair.
I don't miss him then. Okay, who else was it?
Kevin Nash, Bill Goldberg, Scott Steiner, Jeff Jarrett, Rick Steiner, Rey Mysterio Jr.
I also miss Jeff Jarrett.
You miss Jeff Jarrett?
Yeah, I thought Jeff Jarrett was a really good talent, actually. Really good.
Well, there you go. Go to 1059therebel.com. Click on the
I can vote, too?
You can vote, too. You're allowed to vote. You just can't win anything, but you can vote.
Okay.
All right.
Wow, that's a great deal.
We're going to check in with the news more when we come back. The toll-free number again, 866-910-WPFB. We are the Wrestling Guys.
On 910 AM, WPFB.
Back on the Wrestling Guys, a couple of other things to get into. This Friday on the Score in Canada, Vince McMahon sat down to do a one-on-one interview, which they're going to broadcast. And he talks about a number of things, including the death of Owen Hart, as well as the entire Bret Hart Montreal Screwjob controversy. 4 years later, that is still as hot a topic as anything in wrestling. Did Bret screw Bret or Vince screw Bret?
Well,
It's like I have friends that do sports talk radio.
Yeah.
And they said, when we have a really slow day and we don't know what to talk about, we just mention the name Pete Rose. And instantly, you'll have, loaded phones for the entire show.
It's Canada. They don't have a lot to talk about in Canada. In fact, most of the times they don't even see a full Raw.
No, because they have to edit everything.
Yeah, because they edit it down. It's Canada. Of course they're going to still talk about it. Are we still talking about it? No. You know why? Because we're Americans, by God.
No, if we play the music behind it. No, if we open up the phone and we said, tonight on the Wrestling Guys, we are talking about Bret Hart and Vince McMahon, the phones for the entire hour would be jammed.
No, they would not.
Yes, well, they're jammed normally anyway, but they would be jammed with people commenting on this.
All right, everyone else that calls in tonight, I want to know if we even had a show like that, if you would even consider. You know what? They would flip the dial because no one cares anymore. No one cares. Nobody cares about Bret Hart.
Hot button topic.
No,
hot button topic.
It is not. It's the same thing. That is why our attention spans are shorter and everything else because no one cares. You are up one day, you are down the next, and that is it. Bret Hart is down. Bret Hart is out. No one cares about Bret Hart and Vince McMahon anymore.
Vince does. He brings it up every single year, at least once or twice.
Yeah.
So anyway, 866-910-WPFB.
Well, because he knows that they're talking about it in Canada. He always brings it up in Canada. You don't see him doing it down in Houston.
You think he's going to do something at WrestleMania next year?
Oh, yeah, I'm sure he will.
I agree. I'm sick of it. I wish he would let it die. But for a lot of fans, it is still one of those hot-button topics that, they love to debate, whether or not, was it a work? Was it a shoot? Did Vince screw Brett? Did Brett screw Brett?
It's because their beer has more alcohol in it.
It'll be very interesting to see what they, they had that free health care, so they're all snippety about that anyway. But it'll be really interesting to see what Vince has to say, and we'll have that covered for you on Saturday on the Wrestling Guys Hotline, I imagine. So you get to talk about it Saturday.
That would be me.
There you go. Also, today, Hulk Hogan was a guest on Bubba the Love Sponge radio show, and he talked about his upcoming promotion, whether or not it was going to happen or not. And he kind of hinted that, they kind of need somebody to cough up the money. Like that. Hey,
I got sound effects.
But he kind of talked about, that they needed somebody to pony up with the money. And then he said that, he really wouldn't mind going back to the World Wrestling Federation. That he really respects that locker room right now, and he would love to have the opportunity to work with a Triple H or, just to be able to have, another run in the World Wrestling Federation.
Have you heard that there's a booker's position available at WWF or what?
I don't think there would be for him. But, that's another question. Would Hulk Hogan fit in the WWF, at least on a short-term basis for one big storyline? I mean, traditionally, if you think back 8-9 years ago, no one had thought that WrestleMania could happen without Hulk Hogan. And so if you were able to bring in Hulk Hogan for next year's WrestleMania, and get, Hogan versus Austin or Hogan versus The Rock or whatever, WrestleMania is going to sell out anyway. But it would be a huge mega event. It would draw an incredible buy rate. I think there is still that interest for Hulk Hogan in his name.
Yeah, but I think all the diehards would turn the channel. They wouldn't buy it.
You don't think so?
I think overall the buy rate would be down.
Really?
Yep. Sure do.
Well, we'll see what happens.
All the diehards wouldn't care.
I don't know if Vince McMahon would allow Hogan back in the locker room.
Of course, then again, I have DirecTV, so the buy rate's going to be down anyway.
And one thing that's interesting about that, I'm glad you brought that up, is I talked last week with Jason Bernstein with WWF. I'm name dropping again. And I said, Jason, when it comes to this whole DirecTV mess and, WWF pay-per-views not being available on DirecTV, everybody's saying, well, I'll just go out to the sports bar and watch it. 90% of the sports bars, according to Jason, use DirecTV to get their sports programming. So unless they switch over to Time Warner Cable or Dish Network or some other service, these sports bars will not be able to get WWF pay-per-views. So I'm hoping in some of these cases that they're paying attention to the story. If not, come November 22nd, September 23rd on Unforgiven, people are going to go to the sports bar and go, okay, let's watch the pay-per-view. Oops, not here. And then they're going to be screwed out of that. So who knows what's going to happen.
That's why they need to just call this, they need to listen to this hotline.
Absolutely.
This radio show.
Let's show the hotline again.
We are such shills.
Yes.
937-229-8185.
No, that's the OCW hotline.
Why do I always do that?
I don't know.
285-0991.
There you go.
See, I was a shill for them now, too.
You shill for everybody.
I am an equal opportunity shill.
Let's go back to the phone line. Okay. Let's talk to Andy. Welcome to the Wrestling Guys on AM 910 WPFB.
Hey, what's going on, guys?
Not a lot. What's up?
I got two things to get into here real quick.
Okay.
First,
Bret Hart and Vince McMahon?
That whole Vince McMahon thing, first off, I'll get into that. So I got three things to do.
Oh, see?
But the whole Vince McMahon thing, if you guys talked about it, no, I don't think I'd turn the dial. Because all you have to do, Willie, is ask Shawn about my Wrestling Guys collection. You know how I have all the shows on tape and everything.
Andy does have every show on tape.
Yeah.
So I couldn't turn the dial. I mean, it just isn't going to happen.
He's made them into
he's a loyal guy.
He's made them into a fine quilt.
All the way.
Andy's a show for the Wrestling Guys. Although we like that. Anyway, go ahead. What else?
What do you think the cast for Tough Enough is going to do? The people who lose? Do you think they'll be in the business? Any of them?
You know what? I think at this point, I think that the ones that are still involved have seen so much of the business. I think it's in their blood now, and I think that they will probably have the opportunity, I hope, to be able to get some more training, whether it be one of the developmental territories or somebody else's wrestling school. I don't know. It's going to be a real interesting situation because I think and who knows what we're going to see over the next few weeks. But I think that up to this point, the five that's remaining are pretty much even overall.
Yeah.
Maven's more charismatic, where I think that Harvard Chris has a little more better skill, but Josh takes great bumps. I think Josh has more of a passion to do this than those other two.
I think you'll see the ones that don't make it, the three that don't make it, I think you'll see about as much as Richard from Survivor.
I don't know.
I think as soon as that show's done, the people that did not make it are at 15:01.
Well, I think Twist said, if I remember correctly, he said, if he didn't win, that, he would still try to get involved. And Maven said that, too. He would go back to the wrestling school and try and make a go of it. So, who knows? Obviously, if they don't continue for the WWF, I'm sure there's a lot of independent promotions around the country that would love to get some, quick name recognition by bringing in a Maven or bringing in a Chris or whoever.
Yeah, that's kind of what I think, too. But can I get a cheap plug-in on something, too, here?
How cheap?
I just want to plug something that I do real quick.
Go ahead.
Okay, I want to tell all the fans to check me out on option 2 of the Miami Valley Pro Wrestling Hotline at 937-640-2751. Make sure you hit option 2 and let me know that you called.
There you go, Andy.
Thanks, guys.
Bye-bye. Andy's a shill. Andy is a shill.
I'm not saying anything.
He's nothing but a shill. Anyway.
I won't vent anymore today.
You're not going to do any more vent. You should, because if you don't, your blood pressure's going to skyrocket.
I know. That's what they keep telling me.
Okay. 866-910-WPFB, the phone number. We have some open lines. More when we come back here on the Wrestling Guys.
On 910 AM. I mean, that's not 4.6. Not a bad rating.
That's not a bad rating, and I think I don't know if they're just so entrenched on Thursdays that they wouldn't consider moving. But I'm not sure. I haven't heard what CBS plans to do with the upcoming Survivor 3. Right. They're going to have that on Thursday.
I would almost say so. You're going to have to put it on against Friends.
Yeah. So you have Friends, you have Survivor, you've got what else is popular? Will and Grace and PSI.
Yep.
It's a very tough night on Thursdays. Tuesday, I think, is a little bit of a weaker night for the competition. So, although I think it's Tuesday when UPN runs Buffy.
That might be, yeah.
So who knows what they're going to do with that. 866-910-WPFB, the number. Let's go back to the phone lines and talk to Casey. You're on the Wrestling Guy.
Hey, what's going on, guys?
Not a lot, Casey. What's up with you?
Not much. I was just wanting to, I don't know who made the comment, but about Hulk Hogan coming back to WrestleMania. I don't think that's, personally, I don't think that's such a good idea because, I'm like a mass hardcore wrestling fan, but, Hogan can't really keep up anymore with the Triple H's and stuff like that. So I don't, myself, I wouldn't be too interested in the main event at, WrestleMania and nothing like that. And I'm a lot of people's talking like, Hogan, he's kind of old and all that, can't really hack it anymore. And, everybody says, Hogan's the worst wrestler ever, but he was the most popular.
Well, what's funny is on the poll we have on our website about who do you think the greatest WWF champion of all time is, right now Hulk Hogan's leading that poll. You cannot deny the fact that Hogan had incredible charisma during the 80s and early 90s and did a very good job in his role as the leader of the NWO when that storyline first started. I think Hulk Hogan's value would be to a promotion that's up and coming, to a new promotion. If I became a booker, Willie, and I was starting my own promotion today, Hulk Hogan would be a guy I would want to have for the short term just because he has the mainstream name. He will get you immediate mainstream attention, and I think it wouldn't be a bad idea, starting out.
Well, of course, Shawn, you're talking clearly in the fantasy world.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Well, that's a good idea if you're, starting a promotion, Hogan, be behind it because, he is, the most popular, name with their wrestling. But, WWF, they're the main show right now. Everybody, if you watch wrestling, you watch WWF, they really don't need Hogan's help that much.
I got you, Casey. Appreciate the phone call.
All right.
Take care. I think we have the celebrity hotline ring. I think I know who this is.
Okay.
Mark Mustang, is that you?
Yes, it is, Shawn Stidham. How are you today?
Let's set this up now.
Yes.
First of all, let me say hi to my buddy Willie F. right
What's
there.
going on, Mark?
Oh, not much, Willie.
This Saturday, Outlaw Championship Wrestling is at the John Bryan Community Center in Yellow Springs. Bell time is 7 o'clock. 90 minutes before that, and this is not available to the fans, but I still think it's something cool we need to talk about because Mark is very well known in this area. Mark Mustang is walking the aisle to get married in the ring at the John Bryan Community Center. How did this idea come to you?
Well, Shawn, for a long time, I've been around the business. I've been around this area. Like you said, a lot of people know me. And let's just say that getting married in the ring to my future wife, Kim, is probably the most comfortable place I could be to get married.
I think it's very cool.
Years ago when I used to wrestle for Bobby Fulton, one half of the Fantastics.
Name dropper.
Name dropper, yeah. I wrestled with Thatcher and Roger Cox and Stevie Hayes. And when I used to do some of his shows, he had told me that years ago he got married in the wrestling ring. And I thought that was interesting, and that's always stuck in my mind.
You got Randy Savage and Miss Elizabeth from SummerSlam. Don't forget that.
And Uncle Elmer.
Oh, yeah, that's right, Uncle Elmer.
That's true, but like I say, I'm really looking forward to this Saturday night in Yellow Springs. They say the wedding's going to take place at approximately 5:30. I want everybody to come out there and support Outlaw Championship Wrestling. And also in my wedding itself, I've got 3 best men because I couldn't pick one. And one of them is a friend that I grew up with, a guy named Dennis Brown. And then also I have Big Daddy Raj Cox and Dr. Creek.
Now, is Dr. Creek going to wear the makeup in the wedding?
He asked me about that, Shawn, and, I told him whatever he felt comfortable wearing was fine with me. If he decides to do that, that's fine.
Well, now I got a question, because actually then the honeymoon, don't you have to, manage somebody that night?
Well, let's just say that the honeymoon will take place after the show, or when we get out there a little bit. We're planning on going to Florida. I can't get time off work to really go anywhere, so we're going to Florida in December over Christmas. And we're going to just hang out down there in the sun for 7 days, and I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to having a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to seeing all the guys from the area. I know a lot of the independent stars of this area is going to be there. And, before I get off here, I know you guys are kind of strained for time. I want to thank guys like Big Daddy Raj Cox. And I want to thank guys like Stevie Hayes, Wildman Dave Diamond. And I want to thank you guys. But, one thing, believe it or not, Wildman Dave Diamond was at my humble abode last night, and he's something else.
We're talking to Maniac Mark Mustang here on the Wrestling Guys on AM 910 WPFB. I got to ask you this, Mark. That when you went up to your future bride and said, honey, I got you the biggest ring in the world, did you drop that line? Because, wrestling ring is significantly bigger than a diamond ring, but I'm guessing she wanted the diamond, too.
Well, I don't know what she really thought about the idea of getting married in the wrestling ring. I mean, she does have a nice diamond ring, and actually she's got a couple other wraps that go around it. It's and if you ask her at the show, if you see her at the show and you ask her to see them, it is an original design by myself.
Oh, wow. Cool.
I designed these rings by myself. As a matter of fact, the jewelry store I bought them from, of course, it's in this area. They couldn't believe that a man actually picked out that kind of ring.
Wow.
They were just stunned by it.
See, now Mark's going to get all those guys in trouble. Like, well, Mark got his life a ring design. Why didn't you do that for me?
Mark's a sensitive New Age guy, and he knew exactly what to pick out.
Willie knows I'm a New Age guy.
Yeah,
have you ever been called sensitive before, though, Mark?
Yes, I have, but I don't want anybody in the general public to know that.
I was going to say that was only when he was a teenager, and it was never proven.
Hey, Mark, real quick, OCW show this Saturday night. After those ceremonies and your wedding, you are going to be managing. Give us an idea of some of the matches on the show.
Well, I know the 4 Dark Horsemen are going to be there, and they're taking on the Wrecking Crew. I guess Hung Lowe's going to be there against Death Angel. And, of course, all the guys, you got Big John the Lumberjack or Johnny Starr, whatever he's going by now. You've got him. You've just got a whole plethora of wrestlers.
Now, one question, Mark. Traditionally after the wedding and at the reception, the wife or the husband and the wife kind of smash cake in each other's face. Are you going to run each other's head into the turnbuckle or anything like that?
Well, actually, me and Dr. Creep were talking about this just a few days ago, and my future wife Kim, she doesn't know this, and neither does her son Max. But they're both getting body slammed after the ceremony.
So, these little things go on together. Because I was just going to ask now, on the honeymoon night, are you going to 4-hour Broadway?
I've got a motto, a family that body slams together stays together.
That's right.
Well, Mark, all seriousness, best of luck to you. Save some cake from us. So I'm going to try and be up there Saturday. I don't know if Willie's going to make it or not, but best of luck to you, and congratulations to you and Kim, and seriously, all the luck in the world.
Well, thanks a lot, guys. Thanks for taking my call, and thanks for giving me the time.
Hey, anytime.
All right, thanks a lot, Mark.
All right, take care.
Best of luck to you, Mark. That is a very cool story. That's something I don't mind showing.
No, not at all. I love Mark.
Mark is, Mark, he doesn't wrestle anymore.
Right.
He retired a year or so ago. But, there's a guy who really gave it everything he had.
Yeah.
Got pretty much everything he wanted out of the business.
Sure.
Had, got to wrestle guys like King Kong Bundy, and just had a great time with it. He's still involved with OCW, and, he's going to, share the most important day of his life with his friends and the fans up there and everything else, and he's going to do it, and like you said, in the place he's most comfortable in the wrestling ring. So,
sure.
Best of luck to him again. That show, if you want more details, 937-229-8189 is that phone number. When did you get married? Next time you get married, if it happens again, why don't you do it in the wrestling ring?
Don't be doing that.
Don't be doing
No, don't be saying when I get married.
Not going to happen.
No, there may be people listening out there that you might put ideas in their heads, and I don't really want that to happen.
Would you do it in a wrestling ring?
No.
No?
I don't think so. I think I would do it in a big ring of pudding. I mean, you know, it'd be a little different.
A big ring of pudding, that would be seriously different.
Actually, you know what? I don't even think it'd be a ring. I mean, you know, if I got married again, we wouldn't exchange rings. We would exchange shackles because there's no way in hell I'm going through that again.
A couple of other notes. Wrestling magazines right now are really having a tough time. The magazine Rampage is over. They were told yesterday by their head company that they would be ceasing operations immediately.
I didn't even know there was a magazine called Rampage.
I didn't know either. We're wrestling guys. We don't know.
Yeah.
WOW Magazine, though, which is, of course, a more popular magazine, Bill After involved with that. They are having some trouble right now. They're being the company that owns them filed for bankruptcy. Now, After said today in an interview that, you know, we're not done yet. You know, the next issue is ready. It's at the printers. They just need somebody to pay the printer before they can make it. So WOW Magazine right now, I'd say the future's a little cloudy, but according to Bill After, you know, there's still some hope there.
Now, it's not just WOW Magazine's fault that the entire publication company is going under, isn't that correct?
Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
So, I mean, you know, don't skew it a little bit by just saying, well, it's WOW Magazine. That entire publishing...
Well, that entire industry, because of the Internet. And it's not just wrestling magazines, newspapers and traditional magazines. They're all suffering right now because, you know, with the Internet, you get your information right now.
Yeah,
and a lot of people do that. And so, you know, it's really tough in the magazine business right now, newspaper business as well. Also, Combat Zone Wrestling is going to bring out their first DVD this year. You'll be getting that one, won't you?
I don't know. I passed on the, what was it, the APW? They had one out.
XPW.
No.
Oh, APW has one out too? Do they?
Yep.
It'll be coming out later this year. Included on the DVD will be the Fans Supply the Weapons match between Nick Gage and Wife Beater, not Chris Hero, for the Iron Man.
The fake wife beater. Okay.
You know, we're going to have to get into, at some point, there's these shows they run over in England and Ireland called WWS tribute shows. Have you seen these?
Yeah, I heard about these.
These guys actually run shows, and they advertise The Undertaker and Davey Boy Smith and The Rock, but it's not the actual wrestlers. It's people wrestling as them.
It's like Elvis impersonators.
Or a Beatles tribute show, or something like that.
It's a tribute show.
It's absolutely insane. You know, the copyright infringement laws are much looser overseas than they are here in the U.S.
Yeah, a little bit.
Anyway, don't forget, again, call the Wrestling Guys hotline for the latest information and news 24 hours a day, 937-285-0991, and the Wrestling Guys webpage is available at 1059thedouble.com. Click on the Pro Wrestling link, check out the polls, the columns, the message board, and a whole bunch more. And also this weekend, again, OCW Saturday night in Yellow Springs, details at 937-229-8189, and Channel 45, Fox 45, midnight on Saturday, the first broadcast of the new Heartland Wrestling Association TV show with Jim Cornette and all the HWA stars and the WCW Invasion. You can check that out also, again, Fox 45, midnight on Saturday, and more information at hwaonline.com. We are done for another week. Already.
What if I wait a minute, I had some more stuff I wanted to vent about.
Well, if you ever write a column...
Do I have to save it for next week?
No, you write a column.
Because I'll be here next week, too.
You'll be here next week, too?
Yeah.
Did you ever get time off last week?
I did. They gave me a little bit of, they upped my medication. So, I had a nice little soothing, relaxing...
I didn't know if it was an administrative day or not. It was an administrative day. Anyway, we'll see you again next week. I'm Shawn Stidham. He's Willie F. with the Wrestling Guys. See ya.
On 9:10 a.m. WPFB.
The following program is scheduled for 1 hour. Making their way into the studio, the tag team champions of Talk Radio, Shawn Stidham and Willie F., the Wrestling Guys.
There we go. Now we go. Welcome back to the Wrestling Guys. We had a little technical difficulty there. So, I'm Shawn Stidham. Willie F. has the next couple of weeks off. So, Cam the Man Collins is in studio. We also have a very special guest tonight coming all the way from Toronto.
You already introduced me. That's all right, Shawn. Thanks. Oh, okay. No, I'm sorry. I apologize to the fans out there.
A former Intercontinental Champion. What else have you won? You won a little bit of everything, haven't you? European Champion. We have Val Venus in the studio. Welcome. Thank you for joining us tonight.
Thank you for having me.
We'll get to everything in just a few minutes. Again, the toll-free number if you want to hop on board, 866-910-WPFB. Let's go ahead and get into some news and get you up to see what's going on in the wrestling world. Complete lineup for Unforgiven has been announced. The card now looks like this. For the WWF title, Kurt Angle against Stone Cold Steve Austin. It's The Rock in a handicap match against Shane O'Mac and Booker T for the WCW title on the line. Hardcore title, we'll see Rob Van Dam defend against Y2J, Chris Jericho. The Dudleys versus the Hardys versus Big Show and Spike versus Lance Storm and Hurricane Helms with the WWF Tag Team titles on the line. WCW Tag Team title match with The Undertaker and Kane versus Chronic. Edge and Christian hook up for the Intercontinental title. Tajiri versus Rhino with the U.S. belt on the line. And Raven will battle Saturn for the pride of Moppy. You had to be horrified when Moppy was killed the other night.
Not really.
Val wanted to do it 4 months ago. They stopped it right there.
This is probably going to be bad news for you. First, Boston announced today it was downgrading media and cable stocks, including World Wrestling Federation Entertainment and Viacom, due to the fallout of last Tuesday's attack. So
that's not good news.
Not news at all. This is getting worse and worse. Also, no word yet on exactly if Kid Cash is going to get a job with the World Wrestling Federation. He was backstage last night at SmackDown. He did get to work a match, but any word on that?
I don't know too much about it. I know he did have I think he had a dark match, actually.
Yeah.
Prior to that. I don't know what's come of it. I haven't heard so far. But we'll definitely update you on that as soon as we get word.
Well, let's go ahead and get into, that's the news. We're just going to cut the news out tonight. Again, the toll-free number is 866-910-WPFB. If you want to email us as well, the email address is thewrestlingguys@AOL.com. Let's talk a little bit about why you're in the area. You haven't really been seen on TV for, 4 months, 5 months?
Yeah, we're going on 4 months now.
So tell everybody where you've been.
Well, I had
Shawn.
Thank you very much.